Today's video is going to be about different subjects and what your programs will look like here on HMH in the Discover page, just so that way everyone feels comfortable with navigating each of their subjects. So I will make sure to put a timestamp in the description of this video. So if you want to just skip ahead to the subject you're interested in, you can do that. So we are going to go in this particular order though. We are going to start with math, then reading, then science, and then history. So, and we'll go in order of grade level as well. So for the most part, across the grade levels, the navigation between subjects is the exact same. Now, between subjects, between differing subjects, that's where you get a little bit of difference is, okay? So again, we're going to start with math. And let's go ahead, let's go all the way to kindergarten math. So we are going to do our Into Math, if I can find it. Here we are, Into Math, grade K. And you're going to see that in all of the math curriculums, it's going to say something like module. So it'll have module 1, module 2, module 3. And then when you click on it, it's going to say lesson 1, 2, 3, however many there are. And then you can go into those individual lessons, or you can go into that entire module by clicking either open lesson for the individual lesson or view resources for the entire module. Now, if you want to look at the resources for the entire book all at once, you're going to click on all resources over here. Now let's look at 5th grade math. So Into Math grade 5, you'll see it's the exact same format. Module 1, Module 2, the different lessons, same thing. And then if we go into high school, it will be the exact same as well. So into Algebra 2, and here are our modules. So Analyze Functions, Module 2, Module 3, our lessons, View Resources, or all the resources. Now, let's go ahead, let's go into reading and see what that looks like. So we are going to do Into Literature 1st grade, or Into Reading. It's called Into Reading when they're in younger grades. But for this one, it's still going to be separated by modules, just like math was. But instead, it is going to be split up by weeks. And then each week is going to have its own lesson. So if you don't want to look at each individual lesson and you just want to look at the entire week, you can do that as well and click on View Resources. Because again, you just have to use the curriculum. You don't have to use the curriculum the exact way that the curriculum wants you to use it. If there's something in lesson 2 that just you don't think is really useful for your kids, or your kids seem advanced for it, or maybe they're not advanced enough for it, you can take that one out and just go on to lesson 3 and so on and so forth. But this is how you kind of maneuver and see everything. So now let's go ahead, let's take a look at Into Reading grade 6. And again, we're going to have our modules, and it's going to go by weeks. And it'll go lesson 6, 7, 8, so on and so forth. And you notice that each of the weeks kind of have their own subject line or story or book or whatever it is. But same thing as our younger grades. Now you'll notice that once we get into 7th grade, or actually 6th grade also has Into Literature. So once you get into Literature, so if you're using Into Reading or Into Literature, it's going to vary. But if you are using Into Literature, it's going to go by units instead. And then it is no longer going to have weeks. It is going to have unit opener, analyze and apply, collaborate and compare, Spanish and English texts, all this jazz. And this is just going to be different areas that you can look at each piece. So if you only want to worry about collaborate and compare for a particular unit, you can do just that portion of the lesson. Or if you really want to focus on your students' analytical skills, you can focus on these 2 lessons instead. So that is how you can maneuver your Into Literature. And then if we look at high school, so Into Literature grade 9, same thing. It's going to look the exact same. If you want to look at just those lessons, you click on Open Lesson. If you want to look at this entire piece of Analyze and Apply, you click on View Resources. If you want to look at all the resources for just Unit 1, you click here. If you want to look at the resources for the entire book, you click on all resources. Same thing across the board for that piece. All resources is going to be for the entire book. Now let's go ahead, let's move into science. So into science, grade K, you are going to have units again, just like in into literature, but now it's just going to be based on lessons. So now the younger the students, the less in depth it's going to be, just because they're little. I don't think you're going to want to go over the process of osmosis with 5-year-olds, but for each unit, it's going to give you different lessons, and you can go into either just that lessons resources, that unit's resources, or the entire book's resources. Now, if we go up a little higher and we go into science grade 5, same thing. We have our unit 6, our different lessons, and then it also will have different like state resources if they have like partnered with HMH, or if there are particular like organizations and such. When I taught 5th grade science a couple years ago, I did actually end up using these resources just because Arizona's standards aren't super, super in depth. We mainly just have a placemat to go over. So I did use those to kind of give me some more ideas or some more oomph to my lessons. And then let's go ahead, let's skip to high school. So if we take a look at physics, again, we're going to have units and then lessons. So same thing as it was for the other grades. If we look into history, so we'll go backwards this time. We'll start at high school. Let's look at the United States history. It is going to be separated again by modules instead of units this time. And then it's going to go by lessons. The nice part about this, though, is for the history book, for the most part, they do have an explore piece, a module intro, and then review and assess, and then previous module resources, just so that way, because history builds on itself. That's kind of how a timeline works. So this is kind of like a nice, quick, easy way, like, oh, I need to give my kids a test. I forgot to print it out. You go straight here, you click it, open it, and you can assign it to the students. Let's go a little lower into our junior high history. Now, I cannot remember which of our into social studies we use for 6th grade, so I'm just going to click on this one. But it's still going to look, for the most part, the same. These are going to be our magazines, so it's separated by magazines. If we click on our other one, again, magazines. So the magazines, for the most part, do look the same across all grade levels. Each magazine is going to have its own topics instead of lessons or weeks. And when I was teaching the 5th grade history and we had to use our magazines, I kind of pick and chose which topic I wanted to go over. And I made sure that it kind of cross-referenced with other skill sets from different subject areas. So like right here in magazine 1 for world geography, it talks about a reading skill summarize. If you want your students to practice summarization after reading something, this would be a great topic for them to go over. You read through the magazine's content and you do that. Now, for the other grade level of history, American history, because I can't remember if this is the high school version or the junior high version, it's going to go back into that module and then lessons format. So now if we go into our younger grades, so let's say we have grade 1 into social studies. Again, we're going to go back into magazines. Same thing that I was saying before. Obviously, K1, 2, their skills or their topics are going to be much more about like social emotional learning or just societal learning. So how do you solve problems within a society? So problem solving for when they interact with peers or school rules. And then let's say it's the where we live. We talk about just kind of general geography. Obviously, a 1st grader is not going to be able to give you directions to their house, but they should be able to say, oh, what's near me? And so on and so forth. But then they still have those reading sections as well. So reading skill is categorize and classify. So students being able to categorize things like, oh, a river is water, the ocean is water, so on and so forth. And then map and globe schools, so they should be able to read a map. Obviously, for a 1st grader, they're talking about the basics of, oh, these little symbols, these little triangles mean that they are mountains. This blue line is a river, so on and so forth. And that is it for exploring our curriculum subjects.